What's going on, guys? Andrew Hayes here, back with another review, and today I'm reviewing White Boy Rick, which is directed by Jan Damage and stars Richie Merritt as the titular White Boy Rick, and also stars Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and is about White Boy Rick, who becomes an informant for the FBI in the 1980s. And now this is something I was very, very excited for. I thought the trailers were very, very good, and I just thought the fact that it was based off a true story added to that excitement, and it was actually on my honorable mentions for my top 10 most anticipated of the fall season. That video that I did, it made my honorable mentions, so this is something I was very, very much looking forward to. This looked like a great movie by the trailers, and it was very, very disappointing in my opinion. Now, by no means is it the worst thing in the world, but it's just very, very mediocre when it looked like it was more than mediocre. It actually looked like it was very good, and it looked like it had the potential to be something that probably could have been one of the best movies of the year, but it just ultimately fell flat, and I think a lot of the reason because of that is due to the script and the editing. The script, in my opinion, is very, very messy at times, and just there's no substance there, and there are some scenes that I really like, but ultimately it felt like a lot of it was pointless, and ultimately it just wasn't executed right. And to be honest, I didn't really care for anything that was happening, and I was never really fully invested and interested in the story that was going on, and that really sucks because this looked like something that I should have been interested in, and because it was based off a true story, and I don't know what actually, like, how much this was real or not, and I don't know the true story. This is actually the first time I'm hearing about White Boy Rick, and I'm hoping that the real thing is interesting, because it sounds like something that I could have been and should have been interested in, and I just ultimately wasn't. And the editing really doesn't help as well, because there's a lot of like time jumps, and they're pretty big time jumps, and I felt like it could have been done a lot better, and there was no real need for the time jumps, or just the way it was constructed was very, very messy, and that was ultimately a big reason why the movie, I felt, fell flat for me, and why I just couldn't get into it, because of the time jumps. And it did get confusing for me a couple of times, and that was, I think, a big reason why I just couldn't stay interested. Now, the acting for the most part is very, very well done. I mean, McConaughey, I think, is the standout here. That doesn't really surprise me, because he is the best actor here in my opinion, and just gives the most performance. With that being said, I wish he had a little bit more screen time. Also, Richie Merritt, who plays White Boy Rick, very good in this. I thought the acting by him was very good. So, and this is the first time I'm seeing him, so I'm very interested to see how he does in the future. Jennifer Jason Leigh was fine. I didn't really think she added anything into this movie. I felt like anybody could have really played her, and just I like Jennifer Jason Leigh. I think she's very, very good, but like anybody could have played her. She wasn't special in this movie. R.J. Stiller, who is someone I'm not a huge fan of, but someone I do really like. I saw him first in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, and I really enjoyed him in that, and Power Rangers last year, which I really enjoyed him in that. So I would like to see more of him, and I thought he was really good in this as well. Also, Bruce Dern, who doesn't have a small role, I think does very well for what he is given. Now, someone who I wasn't a fan of this movie, and this is the first time I'm seeing her in this, and I hope she can do better than this. And like, she wasn't terrible by any means, but she just didn't really impress me, and she kind of annoyed me in this movie. Is Belle Powley, who played Dawn, which was White Boy Rick's sister. I just didn't care for her. I didn't like what they were doing with her character, and I just didn't like the story that she was given. And I know it's based off a true story, but like, I felt like it could have just been done so much better. Ultimately, White Boy Rick is a very big disappointment in my opinion. Something that should have been interesting, should have been very interesting, but ultimately just wasn't. The editing is sloppy, the script is messy, the direction for this movie seems directionless, and while it does have some good performances in Matthew McConaughey and Richie Merritt, it ultimately is a big missed opportunity, and that sort of feels like Oscar bait. And in a month that has been ultimately just a terrible month for movies, this doesn't make it any better. And this was the one thing I was really looking forward to, and it's just a big disappointment. I give White Boy Rick a C. Now, thank you guys for watching. Please be on the lookout for my next review. Hopefully, it'll be a better movie than this, and something that just doesn't disappoint me in the way this did. This is probably my biggest disappointment of the year because of how much I was looking forward to this. But anyway, like I said, please be on the lookout for my next review. Please comment, like, subscribe, do all that kind of fun stuff. Until next time, guys, have a nice day.